So
One of the
right
best.
on turns. So
Yeah, you're looking at literally the best rider in the world, a world record holder in the pursuit. So he's going to get the guys all throw out his lasso, get everybody organized here, and we'll see what they can do. Again, bold prediction. So much talent on this team. They have not put up a result that's noteworthy. As a matter of fact, it's been the exact opposite of that. But Nathan, I think that has been more of a lack of a reason to. And they've been waiting to make their mark. I'm expecting it to be today, and I'll be willing to eat my words if I'm wrong, but I'm expecting something sensational here. They were so good yesterday. So many talented riders. You mentioned Chris Huberti. He's one of, Duffy Jr. has been
Nate
one of
Taylor
the best
right off
riders
the
in the league.
bat here. This is, man, things are on the edge. So, I mean, I know they dominated yesterday. They are the top team with 20 points. But there's a lot of really good TTT teams out here. So this is risky stuff. It really is.
And recognizing, right, that Ashton Lambie is one of the best team time trialists in the history of the world in real life. I mean, I just think that's such a factor here.
Go ahead and jump on in with the women here real quickly, as I definitely want to catch their finishes. As this is a huge moment for them, and we don't want to downplay at all. I mean, we want to definitely celebrate the awesome qualifications that are taking place here. We were just watching GFTBE, the Belgian team, taking off. And as they get out on course, we'll see how they end up playing out. But Obscure Finesse here finishing out and getting their qualification into the Premier Division.
Yeah, so let's give a big shout out to Sarah Bishop here, Paige Bolt, Catherine Monks, and Tara Freder, and Danielle Baker, the other rider on the team, just behind them. So they're going to stop the clock here and move into the Premier League. Congratulations, ladies.
Jumping back with Turbo as well as they finish up theirs. And a big congratulations to them as well, as it's going to be Kling Kurtle McKay, Garrett Madsen, Leah Thorvalson, with their competitors they're going to have to be watching out for in the Premier Division. It's almost kind of like, looking forward here. We do see Lisa Hogg at 5.255 trying to chase things down, but they're going to hold them off, it looks like, here, with also 6 watts per kilogram toward the front. So Turbo and Beast Mode across the line.
Yeah, so Emmy Kling, Helen McKay, Leah Thorvalson, Lena Hedda Madsen, Sabrina Kurtel, along with Gemma Felstead. Congratulations going out to the women in purple, punching their ticket. We'll see you April 6th in the Premier League. Well done. And then here's the team. These are the women of the hour. No doubt about it. The queens of team time trialing. What a season. Congratulations, Cindy Friebel, Alicia Haag, Josephine Nook, Julie Chalot, and Maria Marb, along with Sarah Carulas, who came back from that tough start to ride with the team. That's Rose Beast Mode. That's the platinum standard here in the Zwift Racing League as they wrap up an incredible season and will advance with style into the Premier League.
Nice job to all of them. And nice job to Velocity Vixen as they come across the line as well, getting into the playoffs. And I have a feeling they're going to be back and hammering away in season 3, looking to try and get another qualification, as they definitely have the quality to do so. Looking here, we did see the start here for the Oh My God, They Killed Kenny. It was super broken up, actually. Alaniziak was off the front, I believe, with Grainer, and they actually dropped their entirety team right from the get-go. There was only two riders up front, so we'll see how the organization plays out and over that 2 kilometer mark. Now looking here, there's going to be Morgan and Lindsay all together. This looks Deepak look like they've shown up to race. That's for sure. Look at the ordering immediately, getting right into the dominoes here. And this is how it needs to go. Wow. You know, very well put together here, coming from Deepak Elite. Now ATP, you can see. Is this going to be ATP? Usually the kit here that is being used, the in-game kits, though, not always the same across the board. We'll get an idea here in just a moment.
All right. Well, we'll have a chance to. We do still, again, we've got a lot going on out there as our A women have finished. We're jumping in with the A men. The same set of standards apply here, as the course is going to be 32.7K of racing. This is the seeding was based on how they rode in race 8 of the team time trial. That was out at the Greatest London Flat. The big feature is that reverse hilly KOM. It comes up right in the middle part of, well, even the early middle part of the course, about 7.5K in. So we'll get a good look at all of the teams as they make their way out onto course. We're going to be looking again for those same checkpoints out there. A 2K check will be the first time, and that's a really good look at that really speaks to experience for teams, how quickly they're able to get organized and up to speed.
ATP Racing Hydrogen is who we're looking at here. Ken Ray Schaefer, it looks like. Cam is there. Nathan Laranza. Zwart is out here, and that is going to be the makeup of the team. Now, next out on course, we are going to be having, it looks like, I believe, a OVB, if I'm not incorrect, is the next team hammering out. I'm just going to make sure I don't get these incorrect, though, as there's a lot of teams in here. And, yeah, it is going to be OVB. TJ Key, James Worley, Harvey, Slater. It's going to be Alex Pritchard, all riding for that team as they take off out on course.
Yeah, the other team that has an extensive number of British riders or out of the United Kingdom would be that Tour 2000 Callis team.
And the Plastic Cockneys.
And the Plastic Cockneys. Yep.
Watch out
Don't
for this. Nothing but UK flags on the right-hand side here right now. It's like they all seated themselves directly off of country here at this point. As now at the front, it is going to be Jenkins, Hart, Hitch is there, Peck, and Wiley. Perrin fell off just a little bit here from the Plastic Cockneys. Gets to get back on terms here. And this is what we were talking about. Watching these starts has been very interesting to see how they end up playing this. As you do see Verheil taking off very quickly. Offerman's off the back just a little bit. And then it's going to be Van Ellis. Tugels, the juggernaut, I think, of this team. See what kind of pulls he's taking on through. Is at BZR. Definitely a team that we've felt have been a shoe-in, but they've got a battle on their hands with Next out there, at least for the standings as it comes in out of the points race.
Leonard was in a solo breakaway yesterday. So to bring everyone up to speed, if you're just joining us, this team time trial is the decider for the three teams out of all of our world group of divisions. This all-star race that we have is going to be significant. The odds are very good that we have teams tied on points out here today. And if that happens, the first and only countback is your result that you had today will be the determiner. So this was yesterday, and it was so I mentioned that Leonard Tugels, the Belgian, went in a breakaway, and it had all kinds of potential, but ultimately it did come back together. And next, Chris Uberti was phenomenal, gathering up points along the way and all of our bonuses, and that helped. But I mean, they just didn't miss a step. So next, with 20 points, Belgian Swift. So that's the team we're just with Leonard Tugels there, BCR. They have 19 for that second. And then Beast Mode Crew, the men's edition, 18 points with their third place. So we're back at it today. Same points table will be applied. Again, you understand that our tiebreakers based on today's result. If that situation occurs, top three teams being promoted into Premier League for season 3 that begins on April 3rd.
As we do look at Beast Mode here, they're currently sitting at 18 points coming into the race here, so they are in a spot to qualify. Fusion ECT right on their heels. Now, the interesting thing here with this as well is as we watch the teams take off, watch and see where the seating is amongst these riders, because it will give you an idea of who the better TTT riders are. And looking at having Revel from Tour 2K Callis, they're currently with 15 points. They're, according to this seeding, they are a better team time trial team, though, comparatively to Beast Mode Crew. So, looking at these, because these were all seeded across, think about this as well. This is across regions, right? So,
they all raced on the same course at different times.
At different times. So, this is comparing the times across the regions and then seeding them comparatively that way. So, 2K Callis, they seem to be the better TTT team, which says they may be able to jump up here. This is going to be some hot racing. I mean, this is going to be neck and neck, I think, for those top three. Nothing is decided at all yet on course right now.
That's an extremely good point, Nathan, talking about Callis. Now, I think it's really bizarre, to tell you the truth, that Next, who was our best team yesterday, had the start for the worst team in the team time trial based on seeding going back to last Tuesday's team time trial. So that's pretty bizarre that that this scenario occurs. Talking about covering both ends of the spectrum, but we're expecting, or I at least am expecting, a certainly much better than bottom of the barrel ride from Next today. I expect them to be well inside the top 3 out here, but we'll let them prove it. That's what's so fun about this. So that gives you a good look at the point standings from yesterday.
Skylab coming so through here. Fitzpatrick right now, 13, 8th place from the point structure, but they have monsters on this team when it just comes to sitting down and hammering huge numbers. Caleb Carl, I ride TTTs with this guy. I mean, the reality of the kind of power this guy can throw down for long periods of time, yeah, may struggle in a points race type situation here, but man, he actually fell off the back here, and that is going to be a huge loss for them. They need to just let him go. Interesting enough here, maybe had some sort of an issue from the get-go. They cannot let those seconds. He's going to, can he get back on terms? Carl at 6 watts per kilogram. Fitzpatrick going back for him. They may be able to murk this out, but they can't slow down at the front. And it looks like Carl may be able to make this happen here. He's almost back on terms. Fitzpatrick's going to give him a wheel. That is so crucial over the reality of this course. They did make it happen, and that is going to be a huge amount of power at the front end and rest for the rest of the team. And they didn't even really wait up, it looks like. They held a solid kilometers per hour all the way through, 48, 49. That's not going slow, that's for sure.
Not many riders could pull that off. Caleb Carl, who has an amazing capacity for pain, and certainly one of the most impressive riders that we've seen out here in Season 2. As that was Skylab that we were with.
Now we're in with Fusion ECT, and here, Dave, 4th place, right? But one of the fastest teams, because look at where they're starting. Are they the top seed, actually? I'm wondering if there's anybody else left to go here. If they are the top seed and they're in 4th currently right on that edge of not being able to make the Premier Division, top 3 out of the 14 teams, that says a lot actually to their ability to take down those teams ahead of them at this point. I would be shaking in my boots with the reality of Fusion being one of the fastest teams out here right now, because where they're starting, all I'd be thinking about right now is we have to demolish Fusion if I were one of those teams up front here. And as we see here to the front, heavy at 6.98 watts per kilogram, 50 kilometers per hour, they are already flying, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, so there is no team that is safe or that is guaranteed to advance here. I mean, Next needs to have a good ride. Just because they were awesome yesterday, that doesn't punch your ticket for today. And this is one of the teams to watch closely here. It'll be really interesting when we start seeing these splits, and you're going to realize there's so many things that can happen here with the way that this points table plays out. It's nice that it's really clear, very clean when you look at our tiebreaker here, as it'll be based on today's ride. What a mix of equipment on this team. Couple concept bike, couple Tron bikes, couple disc wheels. They got it all. They cleaned out the garage.
It's interesting, the picks here. And this is the kind of team that I would think can kind of
would be unified on their bike.
No, they can just pick whatever they want. So there's obviously discrepancy between what the riders think that they need on the day, because they're going to have the kind of depth, I would think, of levels that can just get whatever they want from the garage. So that's really
a good example of something in real life that would never happen, right? At a professional level, because you'd be sponsored with equipment and you don't make a choice when you're a rider on a team. That would be happening from your federation or from your director. You don't get to choose which bike you want to use today.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. I wonder if any of the directors get intense about that here. Now, do you see that rough start from, oh my God, they killed Kenny. 254, DFTBE 251. Next at 250. Oh man, they are. Now that's a 2K mark though. No, but look.
Yes, a lot can change. They're
10
seconds back at 2K.
Nah,
Right.
10 seconds.
And actually, if you look at it to third place, they're only 3 seconds. So it could be worse, not ideal. And this is why we've got them out there racing for 29K. It wouldn't be fair if we took the time at 3K for deciding this. That's for sure. Got to give a team a chance to find their rhythm out here. But that's certainly eye-opening. Speaks to experience. And, maybe I put too much weight on Ashton Lambie's in real life team pursuit. You can be the best at the world at something in real life and not have that translate into esports. We've seen that time and time again. So, there's no doubt that with what you do on Thursdays, WTRL, and that spoke to, Nathan, going back to the women's race, a lot of Turbo's success, Helen McKay, Leah Thorvaldsen, those are 2 riders that are regulars on Thursdays. They do WTRL all the time. Let's see if they're picking up some speed. This next check is going to tell us so much, Nathan, because that is after the feature here, where most of those 131 meters are climbing throughout this 29K of racing out here come at you. They're over that point. So that 12K check, they were the first team out on course. This is going to be interesting to see how the other teams start comparing to the benchmark time that they're going to put up.
15-16 over 12K here for next level, and that is with a significant climb in there.
Yeah,
absolutely right. Flying here. And look at Lambie, 7 watts per kilogram on the front from Lambie right now.
Here we go. Rocket ship on the front.
189 beats per minute. Absolute sacrificing happening right now, about halfway through, and this is going to be. This is the section
long,
too,
Nathan.
of course. This is the section, of course, here, too, where the speeds need to be insanely high. I would be aiming for 50 to 52 kilometers per hour through these sections.
Okay, we've already watched him on the front of this group. He was there when we showed up. He's been there now for 30 seconds. He has brought it from 49 to 50. This is now a 1% grade. That's why you see it fading just a little bit there. So that was what a monster does. Ashton Lambie coming off the front, and now it's going to be Brian Duffy Jr. This team is going from strength to strength right now. They brought it back up to 50. You can see now it's a little bit of a downhill grade. This is where you want to build up that momentum. All right, next is Enfuego right now. This is the next team that I was looking for, Nathan. Now they're back and in full effect and looking to ride their way into the Premier League. Nobody wants it more than these guys.
And look at now we're going to have to see what'll be really interesting is watching that 2K to 12K and watching how it all changes, right? Really good start. Yeah, awesome. But if it sacrifices anything over that next 10 kilometers because you went way too far into the red, or if you had some disorganization up front, it really gives you an idea of how important these starts are. We watched a lot of them get off onto course here, and we saw that there was some a little bit of disorganization in a couple of the teams. We saw some of the teams with some separations. We'll see how that impacts things if anybody went too far into those matches being burned early on.
They were going 53K per hour there. That was an unbelievable pull from Chris Uberti. Those 10 seconds, that's ancient history now. They are clocking teams at this point.
Look at the difference.
Nathan.
Look at the difference. 250, 251, now 1605 here. That's a...
Listen. Telling you, this is what I was talking about at the start of the show. If these guys could get it put together, they have the horsepower. They just needed to work a little bit on the finesse. They've got that nailed. This team is synced up. They're locked and loaded. I can't see how you beat these guys today. And first team out on course. Now the checks that come a little bit later, talking about Fusion. Oh my God, they killed Kenny Callis. It'll be interesting. Deepak as well. Going to be very, very interesting. BZR, I have to think along with Beast Mode Crew. These are the 2 big danger teams here. But again, you don't need to win this race if you're Beast Mode. You just need to be respectable riding up. I mean, a top 3 finish guarantees you. A top 5 finish guarantees you, actually. So they've got to, they have some wiggle room. They're back on it now.
Now, a team to be watching out for as well, though, is going to be Deepak Leak. And we're going to go back and forth between these 2 tables over and over again, because this is going to tell us a lot, right? Deepak Elite currently with 16 points. They're on the bubble, right? They're right on that bubble. 16 points, 5th place. 3rd gets you in. out of these top teams out here. We see them coming in with this 1530, currently sitting in second place overall. That would most likely jump them, into a qualifying position if they can hold on to a time across the finish line for that second place. So, well, depending on where a couple of other teams finish, though, too. I mean, there's a lot of math going on here. A lot of variables, because if other teams that are, below them end up in first place, if Fusion ECT gets a first place, that steals points, right? So, coming on through here, oh my God, they kill Kenny way off the pace here, it looks like. It's 16:38. Going to have to ramp some things up to have anything within that top maybe even 10 or top 5 here at a 16:38. It's kind of out of the question here at this point, as we are also looking at GFTBE, who has a better time, though. And oh my God, they kill Kenny, but at 45 kilometers per hour, as you can see here, the speed difference is obvious, as you can see, between those top level teams here. As we jump in with Deepak Elite, who currently have the second best time out there and are in 5th place overall coming into the day.
At this point, Nathan, it was 53 kilometers per hour for Next when they came through this sector. Now you can see they're bringing it up to that speed, taking advantage of that little bit of a dip, a little downhill you have. Yeah, they're motoring here, but we're starting to get a feel for what the top teams are doing, because Deepak Elite is going to come in 14 seconds in arrears of Next Level. So sitting at a 15:16, that's your benchmark time. That's not quite halfway through. They're going to be coming up on the 22K check very quickly. Talking about Next, ATP Racing Hydrogen in at 16 flat. 5 seconds behind them is GFTBE, and then a 16:38 for Oh My God, They Killed Kenny. We're whittling it down, coming to the midpoint of the course. 29K of racing here today.
29K racing. We're in with Deepak Elite. Go ahead there, Dave.
No, you're absolutely right. I was just saying that I'm really interested to see now what Fusion is going to put together here.
We'll have to wait a little while on Fusion, as they were the last ones to go, but the top-ranked seed, so the fastest of the fastest. And again, that will be a story on the day, because Fusion are in 4th place overall. They are battling directly with Deepak Elite, actually. Directly with them right now.
Right. I would call them these are the bubble teams out here. The teams that did a good but not great job yesterday, that need to really just redouble that effort. As you take a look at how it scored yesterday, again, only 3 teams advance. In case of a tie, we use today's result as our first and only tiebreaker. All right, more teams coming through. That 15:16 remains the quickest. It looks like, who did we just add there? ATP Racing Hydrogen.
Plastic Cockneys
there you go.
And ATP Racing Hydrogen. Now, it is going to be with Deepak Elite. This is going to be Behnke. It's going to be David Pacheco. Ed Morgan is out here. Matteo Campagnoni. And then Sam Lindsay and Steve Fruminger. That is going to be the team that is absolutely flying out here. 2nd place currently, with the Plastic Cockneys right on their heels, actually. As I believe, did they overtake Oh My God, They Killed Kenny? I believe they may have, as they finish out their rest of their course here. It's going to be Zwart here from ATP Racing Hydrogen, currently in 4th place overall. That's going to be a solid result for them, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to bring them anywhere near the top spot, as they are not in the top 10 for the points out here. They are going to have a good TT, and it may bring them into the top 10 when it comes to the points. And maybe even, the thing about a ride like this from ATP Racing Hydrogen, it might steal some points from one of the top teams. Oh my goodness, look at BZR. 15:04.
Boy, so it's going to be close, because you have to think at the 22K check, Nathan, it could be tied between those two teams. And they were 1st and 2nd yesterday as well. So just a reverse of that, yesterday's 2nd place team is on top with a 15:04. Oh my, BZR absolutely killing it. Sports Solid Esports Team Red in full effect. So if they can beat Next Level, they're going to feel really, really good about their promotion up into the Premier League. Deepak Elite with a strong 15:30, and we're updating with Beast Mode Crew 1 second quicker at 12K. To be fair, Nathan, the next time we look at our friends from Next Level, they're probably just about to 22K already.
Next Level, Beast Mode Crew, BZR, our top 3 teams from yesterday, showing that they know how to TTT regardless of their race number 8 seeding position, because at this point they're all in the top 3 by, it looks like, 10 seconds or maybe 11 seconds here, 12 seconds between them. Next, beast mode, BZR. Has it already been decided? No, we still got half a race to go between a lot of these teams, and Fusion ECT are right on the cusp of being able to make it. They were the top seeded team coming in for the TTT. They got to beat one of these teams on time, though. That's going to be the question at that next marker.
It's looking entirely possible that our top 3 teams are going to make the math really easy for us, which I was not expecting. But if BZR, Beast Mode, and Next Level hold on like this, it makes it simple. There's no other team that can crack the code to beat them here. Now, Deepak Elite, Plastic Cockneys, they're going to be going for it. There's no doubt about it. I still stand by. I mean, Nathan, it takes a special team to be in a situation where you can have the lowest seed be the first team out on course and have a chance to win the race. That's almost unheard of. It speaks to a special set of circumstances that have occurred here with the Zwift Racing League as Next Level. This isn't punching above their weight, because we talked about in real life experience, and this is going to be one of the few times that you can get away with not having done your work in the WTRL, but your in real life experience is so next level that you're able, living up to that team's name. No doubt about it. But BZR, the fastest time. We're going to start looking at checks, though. Won't be that long until we see what's happening at 22K, and that's only 7K from the finish. This is Plastic Cockneys. We're in with Hart right now. They've got the whole team together. Looks like he's going to come off the front, and the team in a nice tight rotation here. Poetry in motion.
Yeah, Hart, actually, that was really well done. Usually a rider who goes to the back is
little
off
gap,
just a little
right?
bit and then jumps back up. That was like just slotted right in. Like it was no problem whatsoever.
10 out of 10
on the look at this.
Yeah.
7.2 on the front. These numbers on the front, when you the kind of numbers you have to pull with amongst this crew are just absolutely insane. The interesting thing to me here was that I think they really set up well to know that the rider is going to be able to really handle their effort just fine, because that was less than a 30-second effort. So I think each rider is in live communication. That's really the dynamics of a team, and knowing what to do and how to do it for each and every one of the riders. And a direct, exactly. Quick 15-second, knowing what your teammates need. Little separation. You will see that Hart's going to close that right on down. That's his job. They're going to keep the speeds high. They're not going to slow down at the front. And everybody's going to get back in order here. That's going to be a little suffering for Perrin when he has to come through, or Hart, because that was an effort that maybe, is going to cause a match to be burned that could have been used on the front. But Jenkins going to continue on, and now it's going to be Perrin most likely coming on through. But they're keeping it pretty solid here through the Fuego Flats as we see the next times coming on through. Fusion at a 15:23. That is the time we were looking for. They absolutely need to bring back that 7 seconds within this next half a race. 7 seconds is the difference for them at this point for a chance at Premier Division.
Wow. All right, that's the bike race, though, as Nathan has identified for us there, that 8-second difference between Beast Mode crew, because, here we go. So this is going to be our first time coming in 27:27. That's an easy number to remember. Is that going to be the fastest time at 22K? I think there's a realistic chance that that is the case. As you can see, they were 12 seconds behind BZR at that previous check, but they had clearly gone into overdrive talking about Next Level. BZR more than holding their own out there. So Martin from WTRL called this the Battle Royale. It certainly lived up to it. We're jumping back in with the men of Next Level right now, and you can see that, they are absolutely flying like that. This is a rocket ship on rails as they make their way through this tricky little sector here. So it's going to be a while, folks, to be honest here, a few minutes until we've got BZR and Beast Mode crew and Fusion coming through. We're going to fill in this intermediate check here, Nathan, with some teams right in the middle of our standings here before we get back to the cream of the crop, because those teams started quite a few minutes later than Next Level here, who are our first team out on course. You see Brian Duffy Jr. right in the middle here of the team. Catanzaro has been. There's not a weak link on this squad, and that speaks to being successful in the team time trial. These guys are killing it.
Yeah, this amazing time here coming on through. Let's take a quick look at where they are out on course for those that might just be joining us here. They have just started finishing up their Fuego flats. They're at that middle. As you do see the little dot coming through, this team right now is right where the dot is right now. Right there. They only got a few K left to go. They're going to head through Ocean Boulevard, downtown, into the downtown, and then finish up their course there. And then as you do see, the dot does continue on to show the direction of the entirety of the course. So they're on their second half. Not a lot of climbing from here. There's a little bump out of Ocean Boulevard, but it's actually some downhill and some rest here that's going to be coming in for them, as well as some super high speed. A term that I've coined a little bit in some of my TTTing is speed roll. We're going to speed roll through. And I'm going to watch and see if they do it here, whether or not they take riders from the middle of the pack and speed roll through on the downhill. It's kind of an audible. It's like you have formation, and then you pull an audible for what the course is, and you say, hey, speed roll. At least that's and so the riders from the back that have the speed carry it through into the flat, and they're rested and ready to go, rather than the rider's turn that it was, trying to pull at 7 watts per kilogram continuing on, and then the riders at the back, they just waste the speed that they had and the rest that they had. So we'll see if they actually make this happen. Uberti, see the 0 watts per kilogram? You see all that? And now Uberti coming on through. There's the speed roll. Duffy does it right to the front and holds on to that speed.
Good call. And now they're into the aqua tunnel here. You can see that there's that little ramp that you get to go down that drops you into the tunnel. It's you actually get a nicer drop down into it than you have to pay back later at 28K when you start climbing back out here. So finish line is only 3K away. This team is certainly going to be in the conversation for the winning ride out here today. But I have to say, after what they did yesterday, Nathan, they're in very good shape to advance now. I don't think they're going to find themselves on the bubble at all out here. So not saying that they're going to win today, but it looks like they've done the work they need to do. They just need to stay on the gas here, stay focused for another 4 minutes or so, and this one will be done and dusted, and they'll be riding into the Premier League.
Absolutely.
They've done a lot of great work today.
Absolutely amazing work here coming in from them now. As we do see here, the time starting to come in for these, and look at DPAC. They've brought it on a little bit here. 27:58. Now, if we look at the last times though, from these teams, and we start getting some comparisons between them, DPAC were at a 15:30, so they were kind of in that 5th place or so amongst the rest of the teams for the standings overall, as well as for the standings on the TTT. What I'm finding so incredibly interesting is how close things are for these.
It's going to be agonizing for them.
For the points yesterday and to what we're seeing today in the TTT, it's really, it's kind of pairing up pretty well there, actually.
Yeah, the difference for a couple teams, Fusion, the squad you're looking at right now, it could be 5 seconds between getting into the Premier League or racing back in Community again for Season 3. It's going to be that close.
DPAC League, 5th place, 16 points yesterday. What will they pull off out here today? Did they do what they needed to in the second half of the course as the times start to come in? These times that come in, GFT there, as well as, oh my God, they killed Kenny, not really in the conversations with what DPAC is up to here. Really, the conversation is going to be the Plastic Cockneys, Tor 2K Callus, Skylab, as well as BZR. If they're able to take down some time from those, especially Beast Mode Crew, I think, is the one that they're looking at to try and, bring back some time from that last check mark, because Beast Mode Crew is at that 15:15, whereas they had a 15:30. Also, Fusion ECT, if they can take some points away from Fusion ECT today, that would put DPAC in a good position.
Yeah, so that's really the difference, isn't it? It's not just the ride that you have, hoping that a couple teams help you out and move the teams that you need to come down the table. Well, we're going to be finishing there with Next Level. We'll have a time for you as we're moving back now on course and picking up, looks like the Plastic Cockneys here.
This is going to be the Plastic Cockneys. Going to see what time they come on in with. ATP Racing Hydrogen just ahead of them, and they will be the next team to throw a time down. Look at Perrin. 8 watts per kilogram going into the climb. I think there's some motivation in the legs of these riders. They might have saved a little bit of something here to try and bring back some time on the back end of this as they kick into 48 kilometers per hour on a 3% uphill gradient right now. All of them need to match what is happening toward the front here. We do see Peck coming on with looks like 6 watts per kilogram. You do get a draft. You know what's interesting, Dave, is speed is what impacts draft a lot on Zwift. And so
absolutely,
the higher this, it's interesting because if you have a high speed uphill, you actually do get a little bit more draft. So it's kind of interesting that the total of that group and what they have as a fitness level, the higher the level of fitness and the higher that the front rider can handle, the more draft they actually get in total. So it's almost like you get more rewarded as a team actually for having higher fitness overall on the uphills, which is really interesting because of the speed drafting dynamic. But
right.
Hart now,
well, yeah, that's why. Yeah, so many times on those KOMs when it's raced and you see a group of 40 guys going over it, they shatter the fastest times that you've ever seen before because they're drafting at that speed. It's incredible. Oh boy.
Tied.
Well, BZR steps up.
Ooh.
Yep, take a look at this, 27:14. They're at the 22K checkpoint, so they are quicker than Next Level. The Belgian boys have stepped up and withstood that charge from Next Level. So BZR, just as I was saying with Next, looking very, very good for them today, and certainly the big goal here, Nathan, moving up into the Premier League. It looks like some dreams are going to be coming true in Brussels.
Yeah, and we do see Plastic Cockneys just coming through with Deepak League, but they do get moved down another spot as Beast Mode Crew come through with the 27:31. Deepak League Plastic Cockneys, it looks like, tied for 4th and 5th, but it's not going to be what they're looking for with only about 5K of racing to go for them here at this point. BZR maybe even going to be able to make a catch if we do get the first-person point of view coming on through here. Van Elst now, as he comes through at 6.6 watts per kilogram, 55 kilometers per hour, trying to chase down the Plastic Cockneys, almost within sight now as we get over the bridge here on over to Ocean Boulevard. As you do see the racing to go, Fusion ECT still with 9.3K to go, and a time to come in, being the top seed, coming in with a 15:23 at the 12-kilometer mark. We'll see if they were able to bring back any of that time. So far, it's stayed pretty consistent, though, between all the teams and where they came on through on that first and that second check mark.
Doesn't look like we're going to see any major upsets out here today.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It does look like it is going to be pretty across the board, but we got to wait until they race to the finish line. You have to wait till
absolutely. But in a way, it really confirms yesterday's result, and also I think gives some validity to the 3 teams that are moving out. This was a big day for Next, as far as they haven't really team time trialed before. There were some question marks about whether they could do this at the next level, and they can. They proved it today. So I think that it would be my takeaway, Nathan, was that Next, don't worry about them. They're going to do just fine in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
Assuming they advance.
Looking through here, Fusion, 21.9K in. They are actually about to catch it, looks like, Skylab, which looks like Fusion are having an absolutely blazing TTT. Watch out for Fusion.
They really are.
I don't know. This is still maybe a conversation here.
They were close. I agree. That's the one team that's still in with a shot. Well, not the one team, but Fusion is still. And let's see what we've got here. Waiting for that Fusion time, because they weren't that far back, to tell you the truth, at that 12K check.
Yeah, we'll take. I think they'll get.
They're going to need some
help.
help.
The checks come in right around when they are into the climb here a little ways. We'll see how that plays out. They're going to make their way through Skylab as Alexi Kalman takes over at the front. Now, I'm not seeing the same watts per kilogram on the front here, but it doesn't always, we saw 7 or 8 from a couple of the other teams, but it doesn't always speak to what kind of cohesion that they've had. Because if they're really smooth with their TTT, if they're really, really good with their tactic, if they're really good with their gameplay, you can come through with a little less watts per kilogram, but keep the speeds just as high, as long as you're not slowing the rest of the team down too much. Now, as we do see Christensen take over at the front here, 46, 45. They're going to need a little bit more speed than this.
Forgot what team he's on? Oh, no, that's national champion. Sorry.
Was that on purpose, Dave? Oh wait, no, that is actually just the national champion of Denmark. So absolutely awesome. Fusion 27-30. Oh my, this matters, Dave. This actually matters.
Oh man.
Can they bring back? I mean, that's close. That's close enough in 7K or 5K that they have to go here. Oh,
let's
man.
take a look now. So remembering this, let's take a look at how Fusion is doing after yesterday and see what they need. So you can see the top 3 teams from yesterday in a little bit of a different order.
1 point, Dave. They need 1 point against Beast Mode Crew. It could come down to the tie. It could come down to the tie right here between Beast Mode Crew. Right here, Beast Mode Crew hats pulling on through. And if Fusion beat Beast Mode Crew, they go into the Premier Division.
They are what? At the last check, I believe they're 4 seconds behind. This is as good as it gets, folks. This is team time trialing at the very highest level. So, Nathan, thank you for making that screen switch there so we can see that Fusion 1 point behind Beast Mode. If they beat Beast Mode today, that means that they will advance into the Premier League as this result, today's result, is the tiebreaker. So they would be even on points, but advantage goes to Fusion if that happens. Beast Mode, though, in the driver's seat. They've got a little bit of an advantage right now, a couple of seconds there.
Yeah, we're looking at 7. What is it? Is that 7, 8 seconds? No, we're looking at, I mean, it's like nothing here. We're looking at 8 seconds. Let's check again.
That is 8 seconds there between Beast Mode Crew and Fusion. It's doable. You looked at Fusion a moment ago. They looked great. This is Beast Mode, the German team. They also are not missing a step. We've got what we were dreaming about, an incredibly tense race here into the final couple K. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. I'm getting Martin is like, is it going to be a tie? I can see him right now. I'm getting comms through from our productions. Oh, but I mean, there's a lot of hysteria happening in the background here in the teams. They see the splits as well. They know what's going on. They're going to be getting the whips out here for the horses to get moving and trying to get these guys to the line as fast as they can because it matters. It's all on the line for these two teams at this point. Christensen now. Here comes Fusion off the dirt. 46 kilometers per hour now. Kalman now. Do they have anything left in the legs is going to be the question because it looks like Beast Mode were just ramping it up on the back end.
But look at this. Too. It's heavy with going over 7 watts per kilo. A wattage cottage on the front right now. Oh, man, that is just sheer will. So Denmark has always been a nation that punches above their weight, and we've got the national champion and company making a run at the Premier League. Again, they come in 8 seconds back, but that check was a while ago. Now, that was 22K as they're rapidly coming up on 3K to go. This is what it's all about right here, right now. 2 teams in a battle to make their way into the top level of esports racing on planet Earth today.
Right to his guard now, 55 kilometers per hour. Here comes Christensen with the roll through. Is he going to have the speed? Do not slow down in the front right now. No mistakes can be made. And it goes down to 50 kilometers per hour. Kalman comes through and says, no, we need this 53. What's going to happen between Beast Mode and Fusion? The story of the day. It's all on the line for them. Heading back over to Hats. They're going to finish out. We'll see them come to the line. Emmerich has been taking monster pulls over and over again. I haven't seen him off the front at 7 watts per kilogram. 6 watts per kilogram. Hats pulls in through now. It's going to be Theme, to the front. Hats, Theme, they're all switching spots. Everyone's just going to stand up and see nothing but orange numbers.
Theme's such a strong rider. So they want to close this one out with a brutal last 100 meters. The women and the men on Beast Mode have been phenomenal throughout this entire weekend of racing. They're going to bring 5 to the line here and stop the clock, and we will take note. So looks like, using a thumbnail gauge there, about a 35.50, let's call it. Wow. All right. So going back to Fusion now, these are the team still on course with a chance to upset that apple cart. Beast Mode Crew now will be gasping for oxygen, reaching for a bucket. They couldn't have gone any deeper. They absolutely scraped the bottom of the wattage barrel there. Now it's Fusion's turn to see how deep they can go. We're going to find out how badly the Danes want to be in the Premier League. They're going to have to slay themselves 100 times over to do it.
8 watts per kilogram coming from Christensen. When are we going to see the sacrificial lambs? When are we going to start seeing them just pulling with everything? Because that might be the difference here. Beast Mode stayed together. Are we going to be having here with this a situation where, Heavy here now comes on through as well, where one last pull, everything he's got. I mean, he was at 8 watts per kilogram just a moment ago. I got to think, was he actually taking one last pull? But again, when it does come to that final to the line, everyone sprinting on top of each other does also snowball speed. So Christensen might be worth something still here. He is at the back, 182, resting up, now into the last little bit of a kick out of the Ocean Boulevard.
Oh, man. All right. Buckle up, folks. Here we go. We're going to be bringing home now Fusion as they come into the final K. Oh, it's going to be seconds. Absolutely going to be down to seconds here. It's all on the line. Rittersgaard
here.
is who
Look
we're
at
with
this.
here.
Rittersgaard into the orange again. Oh my.